Hello and welcome to Medical Dialogues Journal Club. I am Dr. Nandita Mohan, and today I will be talking about yet another journal, Journal of Cutaneous and Aesthetic Surgery. Now, this journal too has shown an unprecedented 31% growth from 1.1 to 1.6 as recently released CiteScore of Scopus. Now, the Journal of Cutaneous and Aesthetic Surgery is an open access peer-reviewed journal which is committed to publishing high-quality articles in the field of dermatosurgery, aesthetics, and is indeed published by Scientific Scholar. Joining us today is Professor Dr. Sandeep Arora, the editor-in-chief of this journal and a senior consultant dermatologist at Mehektagul Dermaclinic, New Delhi, India. And joining him is Dr. Duttagupta, Director of Publishing at Scientific Scholar. So welcome to Medical Dialogues. It's indeed a privilege to be having you both here with us today.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Nandita, and thank you to Medical Dialogues and Scientific Scholar for having me here today.
Great. Now, firstly, if I may ask, Dr. Sandeep, heartiest congratulations for JCAS recording the highest growth in CiteScore by the recent results released by Scopus across all the journals which have been published by Scientific Scholar. Now, as per the records, as I also previously mentioned, the score has went up from 1.1 to 1.6 and making a 31% growth impact. So if you could just tell us, highlight a little bit more on the JCSS, your academic or professional background, and also how your journey has evolved from being the editor-in-chief for this journal.
Okay, so see, the Journal of Cutaneous and Aesthetic Surgery was initiated in 2008. It was the idea of the Association of Cutaneous Surgeons of India, who actually are the parent of this journal. This is a very niche speciality. Contrary to what people think about dermatology, dermatology has certain subspecialties which may not be objectively be recognized, but in practice, we practice dermatosurgery, we practice aesthetics, we practice dermatopathology, we practice geriatric dermatology, and we also practice dermatopathology. So this niche subject of dermatology, dermatosurgery, did not have a dedicated journal, and as of today, even in the world, and let alone PubMed index, there are very few journals which cater to this speciality. So the Association of Cutaneous Surgeons initiated this in 2008, and since then it has grown in its readership and in the subjects it covers. So from just being pure some small dermatosurgical procedures to now reconstructive procedures also, which dermatologists practice, it publishes a lot. Also, the primary readership, of course, stays with the dermatologists and those who practice aesthetic surgery. Complex procedures are not covered in this. The viewership is immense, and my journey started in this around 4 years back, initially as a co-opted editor-in-chief, and then the editor-in-chief itself. I have had an academic experience so far of almost 30 years, where I was a professor and the head of department of few postgraduate institutes. I was with the services earlier and left and joined a personal practice later. But the academic background was started long back, around 25 years in dermatology with publishing. And I think that is the reason why I was selected as an editor-in-chief. The Journal of Cutaneous Aesthetic Surgery has changed over years from being a little, just publishing as you would have in older newspapers, just routine views and routine articles which were published, to now cutting edge technologies which are published as a routine. There's so much happening in this subject now that we need to keep pace with it, which also means that the authors want that their good work be published in good journals and be published in time.
True.
So that turnaround of publishing, receiving and publishing is something which the Journal of Cutaneous Aesthetic Surgery got down to, and I think we've been able to deliver. It shows with the PMC and the CiteScore, which has shown phenomenal increase. Of course, I stood on shoulders of giants. A lot of work was done earlier by our past editor-in-chief and the association who stood by me when we took some bold steps. So that's where we are now.
Great, great. That actually is a commendable feat achieved indeed. Now, coming to you, Dr. Sunny, how proud do you feel about this performance that JCAS has shown and at the recently released CiteScore results? And what actually does this mean to scientific scholar?
Sure, Dr. Nandita. The thing is, a scientific scholar can proudly say that today we are the rank one publishers as far as dermatology is concerned. We are publishing some of the top-rated journals in this subject category, and as JCAS moved with us, it was a lot of responsibilities because we have already established a benchmark, and personally for me it was an excellent opportunity to work with Dr. Sandeep, because he is just not another clinician who is acting as an editor-in-chief, but he comes from our respected armed forces, and to work with such a personality is a different feeling in its own. And when the journal was moving to us, we had a lot of challenges in hand, and we wanted to make sure that the journal progresses ahead. We try to bring in a lot of changes under the guidance of Dr. Sandeep, and our entire team, the IT team by Pritesh, our production and operations team by Krupa, we all gelled in together and ensured that the journal publishes cutting edge clinical research. We promoted the journal aggressively, and the result is with us, with JCAS scoring 31% growth in the CiteScore. And CiteScore progressively is becoming one of the most robust and globally accepted metric by which journals' health and overall contribution towards the subject category is being measured on a very rigorous competitive analogy. So as a publisher, we are extremely proud of JCAS's success, and we take this as a fresh starting point, and we are pretty sure that going forward, JCAS would be listed in even higher indexing portals and set further new benchmarks.
Great, definitely there's no harm in aiming higher. It's just the start, and you have a long way to go ahead. So definitely we will wait for that feat achievement as well. Now, coming back to you, Dr. Sandeep, when you took over as the editor-in-chief of this journal, what all challenges did you face as being the editor-in-chief? You said that previously you were marked as the co-editor-in-chief, and now then that role was entrusted upon you solely. So what challenges did you face, and what all strategies did you implement to actually turn around the situation and lead this journal and to this success that it has come down to now?
Dr. Nandita, for any journal, I think there are 3 or 4 pillars which help and hold up the journal and ensures its success. First is the authors. So you need to give them enough trust in the journal. They basically look out for a good platform, but with a healthy turnaround time. Second is reviewers, who need to, remove the not so good from the best. The third is the editorial team. And of course, the publisher at the back end is, I think, very, very important. So when we initiated few changes, not few, I would say quite a lot of changes a few years back, we had to make sure that our authors continue to trust us. We reduced the turnaround time, which was initially very tough. In fact, in some cases, the articles were getting published almost a year later after the submission. And we had no concept of ahead of print in time. So I think the biggest turnaround was to ensure that the articles get published ahead of print online. And the moment that was done, the authors were happy. and it spreads, the word of mouth spreads very fast, and we had numerous international as well as national researchers who started submitting the articles.
Wow.
Second was the reviewers. You see, when the reviewer, we initiated something called a reviewer award or appreciation, which we gave to those who were outstanding, who actually held our hand. I had a word with a few reviewers and told them that this is the issue and we need you to pitch in much more than otherwise. Of course, you can't actually give too much to each reviewer, but we spread it out, and they came up and they did what they had to. My editorial team, and I'm extremely thankful to them, they have actually, I've been nudging them and forcing them to do what they have to. But after the initial phase, I think they're doing wonderfully, and I am sitting in front of you basically because of the editorial team who've done a great job. Fourth, the publishers. So there were a lot of ideas which needed to be implemented. For example, a simple thing like changing the cover, make it more appealing and let it be current to what our thought process is. Making sure that the website gets updated as and when we want it. The ahead of print to be published in time, and changes in our team or whatever structure there is which is happening in the back end should be reflected in on the website, and to make sure that the next issue is ready in time. So I think ahead of print is good, but if the print version comes out in time or a little before time, I think that's wonderful, and that is where our publisher, Scientific Scholar, actually helped us. So we are now we were, I would say, a giant in publishing in this subject anyway. Maybe we were lumbering a little bit. Now we are pretty fast, and we picked up a lot of speed.
Great. That indeed is a good. You just mentioned that turnaround time is the important factor here. So definitely young researchers and young authors need that motivation actually to go ahead. And so because if the journal is giving back to you in time and they are not delaying, as you mentioned, a year behind, if the research is done today and publishing goes a year later, then the value of that research comes down. So the turnaround time, if that any journal can provide, then that definitely is a good motivation for young researchers and authors to write down and pen down their research and get their work done immediately.
Very true. So if I am an author and I am looking for a journal to publish, and I do send in articles, even now obviously we keep working, I look at, is the journal good enough? And is it in sync with what my research topic is, and will it let me know whether my article is good enough for them in time or not? I think as an author I would do that, and I'm sure all our authors also look at this exactly the same thing.
Very well said, sir. Now coming back to you, Dr. Sunny, Scientific Scholar, we all know, is now the leading publisher for, at least as far as dermatology and aesthetic surgery profile is concerned in India. So what all message do you want to give out to these young researchers and authors? Anything that you would want to say out to them reflecting this recent success of the journals like the JCAS?
Sure, Dr. Nandita. Today, Scientific Scholar is very proud that it is a leading publisher in the field of dermatology and aesthetic surgery. And apart from dermatology and aesthetic surgery, we are publishing some of the leading journals in the country, be it Indian Journal of Medical Research, IJMR, Indian Journal of Nephrology, or Journal of Clinical Imaging Science, and many other disciplines. What particularly I would like to encourage our authors and reviewers is that, particularly from the field of dermatology and aesthetic surgery, is that you have seen the success. It's a proven success, and as Dr. Sandeep rightly said, our team works hard to ensure ahead of print publishing in time as well as the print in time. So ahead of print has a very crucial concept, because the calculation of the metrics changed back in June 2022. So now when an article is getting published ahead of print with DOI, the citation metric starts from that very day. irrespective of the day when that particular article gets included in the issue. So that is very crucial for any article that is getting published in the last quarter of a given year versus it is published in the first quarter of the next subsequent year, because that brings a drastic change in the overall calculation metrics. And that's what we are committed to ensure maximum visibility. And our production team led by Krupa is working day in and day out to ensure that the articles that are getting selected after the rigorous peer review process are published ahead of print for maximum visibility. And our IT team led by Pritesh ensures that the authors are having the maximum opportunity to disseminate the content. So as many of their authors have achieved the additional success of featuring with you, Dr. Nandita, and your team in Medical Dialogues, because that adds an extra feather to the cap where they are about to speak about their research and disseminate their clinical message to a much wider audience. So if you are already impressed with the tremendous success of JCAS, this is the time to support the journal even more, because we are aiming at even higher portals, higher metrics, and I would encourage potential authors to enrich the journal further with high quality original research articles, randomized controlled trials, narrative and systematic reviews, and of course for reviewers to come and join Dr. Sandeep's team and strengthen the journal further ahead. Thank you.
Great. So thank you so much, Dr. Sandeep and Dr. Sunny, for joining us today at Medical Dialogues and giving us all your valuable insights. And we definitely wish the growth of the journal is just the start, and it has a long way to go forward. So definitely 31% is a number, and we wish that it aims at little higher as well. So thank you so much, Dr. Sandeep and Dr. Sunny, for joining us today and giving us your thoughts as well.
Thank you so
much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Never miss a medical update from Medical Dialogues. Like, subscribe, and press the bell icon.